Hey guys, I'm trying to make videos that are like a little more calm and not so um reality showish, I guess. Um Sometimes I get a little excited and because I have kids, sometimes we're like on a mission and things are like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And so sometimes my videos can be kind of like, and this and that and this, and I like don't even take breaks to breathe. And so I'm gonna try to do that more often. This is going to be a quick one. This is basically a dream I had. So I had a dream last week that my friend of like 10 years picked me up in a car that I had just before Cute Little Crow, about 20 years or so ago, like 22 years now, just before I met Cute Little Crow. That's what my name is about. Okay, guys? That's it. Like, it's not an identity thing. It's not a branding thing. It's honor. It's honor of this cute little crow that was so freaking cute. Like, I didn't want to scare it away. And anyways, I had this dream that my friend, oh my God, you guys, oh my God, guess what? No. I had this friend that picked me up in my dream, and I wish I'd known this friend back in those times because they were really hard. And this was a car that I had that I couldn't drive because I'd been in an accident just before I got this car. So my boyfriend drove it, and I insured it because he owed money or something like that. And yes, eventually we broke up and I gave the car up. But I tried to get the decal off the back of the car that my dad had made for it. My dad made a Crown Royal decal over the back of this Crown Victoria that we had, and my dad's so weird. He's so funny. I really wanted it back because it was special, custom made in his friend's houseboat company warehouse shop. But I couldn't get it back. But that's okay. I had my memories in this car, and I guess like it was important for me to dream about this car because it was during a time in my life that I needed a lot, and I couldn't get my needs met in this relationship that I was in. And having my friend in my dream drive me in this car was really important, and like I felt very safe. My friend drove me to a mall here, and this mall was like hell in my teen years because like I couldn't go anywhere. Like I was bullied so badly in grade 8, which I'm over now, but I was bullied by all the grade 11 and 12s and then some, like hundreds of people. And I was scared to get a job. Like I was scared to go anywhere. And my parents, they, they grew up with just, I don't even know if trauma can cover it. Like they had such traumatizing experiences that I don't think that they could handle me at the time. Like I was 15, bullying was too much of an issue to deal with, I guess, and school didn't deal with it. My parents didn't want to deal with it. But my grades were slipping and I didn't want to go get a job, and it was like either go to school or get a job. And I couldn't do either. And so like getting driven to this mall, the only mall that I would have been able to get a job at probably, 'cause where else was I going to work? Like Xerox? This is the only place that people could get jobs other than like McDonald's. Which it was even worse. I wasn't going to go like even step foot in McDonald's. I had like an egg thrown at me outside of McDonald's once. Like that's how bad it was. Um, Again, I'm over it. But ew. So I'm sitting outside this mall in my dream and I'm making peace with all of this stuff, and I'm like, I'm okay to go in that mall. I go wherever I want now, but I think there was still a part of me that was really hurting. So here I am in this dream, and I've gone back to like Cute Little Crow era where I was like a mess, and then I've gone back to like the mall era where I was a mess, and then I almost went back home. Like the mall kind of shifted into this beautiful crystal building, like this architecture that's just amazing. Solar panels, like I remembered it from home. And the thing about dreams and the unknown and like what's on the other side of dreams and like what's really out there, right? We're not going to find that out in this life doing the things that we're doing. Like we are very privileged to be where we're at. But I think we underestimate like how much damage has been done to this earth, and the fact that like we are only as smart as what we see out there, you know? We can design whatever plants we want, and we can like get as microscopic as we feel like it with microscopes and telescopic, you know what I'm saying? But we're not going to be able to replicate anything that we cannot see, right? And if I wanted to try and explain this mall to you and help you see it, or anything from where I'm from, where home is to me, I couldn't, because you're not going to be able to see what I see, right? In my dreams. And we're very limited here. And that makes it really hard in general for these kinds of like visions and powerful things to happen. These peanuts are really good. So yeah, I had that dream, and I did like that inner teenager healing, an inner 20-year-old healing. And then like I woke up kind of feeling like I'm really, really homesick, but like I'm letting go of that feeling of homesickness. If I don't let go of it, like it's just going to eat away at me, and I'm not going to be able to live my life, you know? And it's subtle, like it'll happen when I'm driving and I get stuck in traffic, right? And I'm like, oh, you know? Or like pain. I've learned to love pain. Like I've learned to love emotional pain. I've learned to love my trauma. It's my experience. It's like part of me. I've learned to love everything. And it really softens you, you know? Like it really takes the edge off when you apply this kind of love, right? It's a healing medium, right? I think it's harder for people to accept love in this world when they don't have like an outlet for something that's just for them. You know, like for me, it's dreaming. And when I have dreams like that where somebody's caring for me, it's good practice for me to learn to accept that in the real world, right? Love is very powerful. You can go back in time and you can like heal things that you didn't even know were really actually holding you back. Self-love, it's an art. It's a skill, right? Loving is a skill to me. Love is a feeling, a state, but loving, that's an action, right? My parents loved me as a child, but they did not know how to take care of a teenager. It doesn't mean they didn't love me, but they didn't know how to do the thing. And I needed to go back and forgive that. I needed to go back and let myself like feel a little more positive, that just because this happened, just because I didn't get an education, just because I didn't get a job, just because I was like petrified at the time, does not mean that I didn't gain experience. It doesn't mean that I didn't have love all those years, right? A lot of people don't even have a childhood. Like I had a childhood and my biological father has never been there. And because I had such a good childhood, I just assumed that it didn't matter. But it's not true. Because I didn't have my biological father and because he was like completely neglectful, and uninvolved by choice and not interested, that affected my self-esteem, right? Because like, not because he wasn't involved, but because he acted like he wanted to be, and I kept on like believing him, So going back to different times in our life, we can actually go and erase patterns, erase memories, erase things that didn't serve us, that we didn't know at the time, that were maybe too subtle, or that we were just falling into because we were vulnerable. And we can rewrite our story, It's like almost like rebirth, but you don't have to do all of everything all over again. So then I had this other dream when I, found here and now and met myself in the present moment. It was a couple days ago, a couple nights ago. And I dreamt that I was in this house, which I hope to stay in. And I saw somebody that was like kind of like a part of myself, but also, had their own personality, had their own like DNA, had their own mind. And for me, like, relationship with self is very real. Like, I take that relationship quite literally and honor it, right? And Cute Little Crow is part of that relationship. Cute Little Crow is that part of me that, held on to my dreams and didn't let go. And so there I am face to face with this figure in this house. This house is like up in the trees, like higher self, right? Like, higher self in consciousness. And we're forehead to forehead. Have you ever seen like a parent in a picture with their baby and their foreheads are together, or like a couple and their foreheads are together and they're kind of like pressed up against each other. And it's just like a very intimate moment. It's very heartwarming, beautiful photography. Like, that's a beautiful pose. If you ever get pictures done with your loved one, like your baby or your partner or, animal. I do that sometimes with animals. It was a very safe feeling. And, obviously I needed that safety. And what I saw inside this mind, this, person, is something that looked like this. This is the only thing that I could find. This is the table from my kid's doll set. And it was like this, but it was more like a lens. So even though it had like a rod, like a lens has a rod, it had like an ability to kind of focus, right? So I was looking at something that I was focusing on in retrospect. Like and I'm going to keep this as like a token, like a dream token. My kids were playing with it. And it was like this like cute little crow has grown kind of thing, like, and is sending me messages, through myself, right? To kind of understand, like, crows are omnivores and they're like, I really feel that they're all seeing, like they're tapped into so much that they could not possibly get down on your level and be like, yo, what's up? Even though I feel sometimes they do. Like, there's a lot of energy that goes on when I'm feeding them or when they come here. It's almost like hard to keep up with the messages that are coming through because there's just so much energy, and a lot of it they probably don't even care about because they're crows. But I think a lot of it they do. Like, a lot of it they're aware of that, like, I carried a lot of different energies throughout my life and have had very strange encounters with crows, like ones that I'll talk about later. But for example, the house that I lived in before, after Cute Little Crow and before my mom passed away, there was this 8-year period of time that was great. It was great. It was so good. We repaired our relationship. I started my cleaning company, my own little thing with just myself. I was like really able to do what I wanted to do. I was homeschooling my daughter. My mom came and lived with me, but then got sick. And so I had this 8-year span living in this house, never saw a crow, but I was very grounded in my energy there. And then I live here now, and I feel like it's just really important to not allow fear to, to see what's coming, right? Like, this is a dream that for me was like giving me this power to see what's ahead, to see what is happening in my life, to, like, not just see from my perspective, but see from like an omnipotent perspective, like the presence of the universe, the eye of the universe, the eye of like the camera. The camera sees it all. The camera sees everything. And so your intuition can rely on the fact that the universe is completely transparent. Like, there's nothing to hide, right? And I mean, we need to have our privacy, we need to have our space, we need to have our autonomy. But at the same time, there's certain things that I feel that we have a right to know, right? And I think there's a lot of stuff that's been held from us. not by choice, by people saying, I don't want, this generation to know about trauma, but because certain, generational patterns have caused a delay in understanding ourselves and understanding, what's gone on in history and how we're affected by it, and like especially trauma. So these kind of dreams to me are really important because they speak to, they speak to parts of ourselves that maybe haven't really been developed yet, or maybe have been forgotten. And a lot of the times, like, my longing to be home can take over my ability to create a life here and to be grounded, and that 8-year span, I did some of the most healing work I've ever done. Like, it was after the cute little crow era, and being able to dream about myself this way and, be in this present moment with myself really helped me to resist the idea of just like leaving this behind, right? Which is something that I've just done so many times in my life because I don't have enough resources or I haven't done the healing work, but you're never going to do everything and then have a perfect life, right? You're always going to have to soul search for more. If you want to have more satisfaction, if you want to have more love, if you want to have more inspiration, and creativity, and if you want change, you don't have to just get up and go, right? I taught my mom that. Like, my mom had a really hard time living with me because she had moved and moved and moved, and my mom never stopped moving. Like, she lived with me for a couple of years because she was sick, but I guarantee you she would have moved 3 times in those 2 years. And I think she needed to be with me, And most of all, she needed to be with herself. These are not things that everybody knows. And some of us are here to teach others, and some of us are here to learn those kind of things, and vice versa. Like, there are things that I don't know that are really important for me to learn. Like, it's coming. Again, I don't know what it is. There's been a lot of lessons for me in this life. One of them is trusting my intuition. One of them is trusting that I can find what it is that I need. It's not hiding. Nobody can hide it from me anymore, right? I can see it. Anyways, I'm going to go outside and do some planting. It's really windy, really smoky. My voice is kind of going. But I love you guys. I really do. And I hope you come back. And I hope this video makes sense somewhat. And, my community is helping me. You guys are helping me. This channel is helping me. Cute Little Crow is the essence of like what's going on for me in my life. I honor this cute little bird, all these cute little birds, all these cute little crows that are showing up in my life have taught me about home, have taught me about like traveling my dreams, honoring my purpose. And, that's what I want to help people do. It doesn't need to look any certain way. It's just how it is in this moment right now. And, like if I could just be in my dreams 24/7 for a week, I would, but that's not going to happen at this point. And until then, it's just these little trips, Also, dream tokens, you can read about them, or Inception. One of my clients is actually moving, and I had this horse on my daughter, my oldest daughter, had put it on the heat thing in my car. So it was just sitting there, perched there for a while. And every time I look at it, I was like, it looks like a dream token, but it just doesn't feel like it's for me. Like it feels like it's trying to go somewhere. And then my client's son was talking to his dad about this dream that he had, talking exactly how I talk about dreams. And so I put it on their little bathroom heat register, because it came into my it ended up in my bag when I went to work one day, and I was like, I think this is meant to be here. And, once I did that, people started talking more about their dreams. Like, I went to another client's house, and her son started talking about this dream. And she almost like, she said just a second, and I was like, oh, she says just a second, he's not going to remember it. Like, but he remembered it perfectly. And, I think some people just don't remember that they have a dream or they don't know how to, but dream tokens can be very helpful. And also just having other people that are interested in stuff like that. I think, I don't know, maybe he like had that dream because I was coming that day, who knows? But it was that moment, that was like kind of like a little piece of the puzzle came together. And I know that my client was like, this is different. And I was like, this is different for me too, right? But they can bring us together, and I think the word dream is used in ways that are just, they're not really like the way that they were intentioned, right? Like dreams are a completely different reality, essentially. And, they use the word dream in commercials for banking, for like building, right? Traveling. But the kind of dreams that I'm talking about are dreams that are like specifically created for you, and not just like a bunch of stuff that comes together in your subconscious that doesn't get dealt with. Like that happens too. That happened all last week for me. And I actually went back to that before I had these dreams that were very healing for my inner teenager. I actually like let go just to see what it was like back then when I kept on giving up, just to heal that part of myself, because I was like, how could I ever give up my dreams, And like, let's go back to that and figure out what it was. But I think a lot of people just say they think that dreams are, something that are just in a book in history and like psychology or something like that. But no, like they date back very old. Like crows are very old. And I think that dreams are part of our cognitive function, and they, are attached to specifically who has produced them. And I think we often overlook the fact that we have a relationship with ourselves that is glued together by dreams. Even if you wake up and you don't remember them, that's okay, right? Because we are not as conscious as we think we are here, and there's lots of time to grow. Okay. I could talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. But I'm not going to. Instead, I'm going to go and listen to something like a podcast. If you guys have anything that you would like to share with me, please, I welcome all enlightenment. And if you guys have any suggestions, feel free. I am just learning how to function on YouTube properly, but there's always my Facebook and there's always my website, cutelittlecrow.ca. And this will be going up on there at some point today. And stay safe out there, because you deserve to. I love you.